the top candidates for the Mountain West Player of the Year. We're coming down the home stretch for college football 2025, so we're going to take a closer look at the possible candidates for the Mountain West Player of the Year. Hey, it's JY back with the Big Mountain. Good to have you back with us. As we get closer to the end of the season, I want to go team by team, pick one player that I think stands out amongst the rest. And then at the end of this episode, I will give you who I believe the finalists for the Mountain West Player of the Year will be. And I want to hear from you as to who you think should be the Mountain West Player of the Year as we sit 11 weeks into the 2025 season. So let's go alphabetically here, which means we start with Air Force. They come in, they're 3-6, and I am picking the quarterback, Liam Zarka. He's a sophomore out of Aurora, Colorado. Really, ever since he was named the starting quarterback, this offense got going, and he is absolutely a dual threat quarterback, one of the best throwing quarterbacks the Air Force Falcons have had in quite a while. Of course, he started the season splitting time with Josh Johnson there for the first couple games. Around game 4, he's been the starter, and he's looked really, really strong. He can do the run. He can do the pass. Right now, he is passing at 64% completion rate. That's 73 of 117. He has 9 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but he's also run the ball 183 times for 903 yards and 13 rushing touchdowns. That's 22 total touchdowns for Zarka. He has a QB rating of 170 right now. Again, just a sophomore. I like where the Falcons are headed with him under center. Let's go to Boise State. Of course, they're sitting at 6-3. Had to think about this one a little bit, but I'm going back to the kid that I liked from last year. Unfortunately, he was injured in their last game. Of course, I'm talking about quarterback Maddox Madsen. He's a junior this year. His completion rating is 60%. He's 152 of 255. He's passed for just under 2,000 yards, and he's probably done for the season, but he's at 1,994 yards, 15 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Of course, 4 of those 7s coming in that Notre Dame game. Absolutely a bad game for Maddox and the whole team there, but he has been pretty consistent this entire season, and he really runs that offense. He also has ran the ball 50 times, 70 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. He uses his leg when he needs to. He's not really known as a running threat too much, but he's able to punch him in there when he needs to. He has a quarterback rating of 139. I am going to give a couple honorable mentions to some teams. I'm going to throw one out here. The kid that really I was back and forth between Madsen and running back Dylan Riley. I thought Sire Gaines was going to be the main man this year, and he's had a great season, but Dylan Riley has looked phenomenal. So I want to give an honorable mention here to running back Dylan Riley. Let's move to Colorado State. Of course, a disappointing season here at 2-7. I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball because there's not a whole lot on the offensive side to really take a look at. I'm going to go with Owen Long, the sophomore linebacker. He has 110 total tackles. That's more than twice any other tackler here on this defense. 46 solo tackles and 64 assists. He also has a sack and a fumble recovery for the Rams. So I had to go with Owen Long. 110 total tackles is pretty solid here through 11 weeks. Let's go to the Bulldogs of Fresno State, sitting at 6-3 here with Coach Entz in his first year in the Valley. And I'm going to go with Jaden Pearson here. He's a transfer from Utah State. He's a senior, but he has 78 total tackles, 38 solo, 40 assists. So again, 78 total, and was a preseason watch for several people that follow the Mountain West and magazines and whatnot. So he was somebody that people were going to watch, and he is performing really well as he's transferred over from Utah State. So Pearson here being my pick for the Fresno State Bulldogs. Going to Hawaii, I've got to go back to one of the best quarterbacks in the Mountain West, the best youngster of the group, Micah Alejado, redshirt freshman, originally from Hawaii. It says on his, if you look on ESPN and whatnot, he's from Las Vegas. That he obviously moved there around the COVID time because couldn't play football in Hawaii on the islands. But he is from Hawaii. He knows that area well. He loves the islands. His quarterback rating right now is 139, 66% completion rate for a red shirt freshman. He's thrown for 2,380 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Also, he runs every so often, 63 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. But he's much more comfortable using that arm that he has, and he has a great stable of receivers there in Hawaii. I think he is absolutely the freshman of the year in the Mountain West. I think that is an easy win for him. But I have him here as being a player of the year candidate, at least coming out of Hawaii. Of course, as I said, Harris, the receiver, and plenty of other receivers down there that Ashlock and others. But I have to go with Alejado, just a phenomenal talent. Let's go to the Nevada Wolfpack, an unfortunate 1-8 season right now. I'm going to go back to the defensive side of the ball here. Take a defensive lineman here, a junior, Dylan LaBarbera, 75 tackles, 42 solo, and 33 assists. He also has 6.5 sacks on the season. That's a number that really stood out to me as I was reviewing, some of these players. Of course, I know the name. I've seen him play. Didn't realize he had 6.5 sacks on the season here for the Wolfpack. So Dylan LaBarbera, the kid that I'm picking out of Nevada. Let's go to New Mexico. A lot to like down here with the Lobos. They're sitting at 6-3. Jason Eck has them playing really well. One of the hotter teams right now as I record this in the Mountain West. And I've got to go with the coach's son, Jackson Eck. Every time I watch this team play, he runs that defense. He's in control of that defense. He's making big plays. And he's only a junior. Of course, he was one of those transfers with his father from Idaho as Jason Eck moved coaching. Jackson followed him as well. He has 95 total tackles right now on the season, 49 solo, 46 assists. He also has a sack and a forced fumble. And again, just watching this team play, watching what he does for that team on the defense, he's in control, as well as some other players. But he's absolutely one of the leaders and captains there on the defense. So that was, for me, it was a pretty easy pick to go with Jackson Eck coming out of UNM. Let's go to San Diego State. Maybe not quite as easy. They have a really good defense. I wasn't really sure which way I was going to go here with who I wanted to take, but I'm going to go with Trey White on the edge. He's going to be in the NFL, I believe. He's a junior from San Diego. He has 30 tackles on the season, 19 solo, and 11 assists, and he has 6 sacks. So, of course, he's not going to be one of the leader tacklers. You're not going to hear me talk about 80, 90 tackles coming off that edge. But he has NFL talent. And for me, that's who I'm going to pick for this 7-2 San Diego State Aztec team coming out of the defense. Of course, Johnson, the cornerback, an honorable mention that I have to also talk about with San Diego State, and plenty of other guys that I absolutely could have picked, but I had to go with Trey White here for the Aztecs. Let's go to San Jose State, 3-6. For those that follow our channel, you probably know who I'm going to say right now. Walker Eggett, senior quarterback. He's from Santa Clarita, California. I'm a huge Walker Eggett fan. I think he has one of the best arms in the Mountain West. And I'm going to say I think he has the best arm in the Mountain West this year. I love watching this kid pass the football to whomever. Last year it was Nick Nash. This year it's Danny Scudero, and he can find these guys and get them the ball quickly. He's passing right now at 60%, 217 out of 362. He has almost 3,000 yards right now, 2,941. Of course, he'll surpass that 3,000 mark. His QB rating is 160, 17 touchdowns with 5 interceptions, and he went 6 straight games without throwing a pick until he had a few here just this last game with Air Force. He's not really a runner. He'll run every so often. He's carried the ball 27 times for 65 yards, but man, he uses that arm and he can use it well. Again, I love watching this offense at work when he is under center. So Walker Eget there for the Spartans. UNLV is up next. 7-2. I got to go to the other quarterback, and in my opinion, the best overall quarterback in the Mountain West right now, Alex Calandria. He's a junior from St. Petersburg, Florida. Of course, he came over from Virginia here this past year. One of the first calls that Coach Mullen made, and he has been nothing short of fantastic for the Rebels. He's passing at a completion percentage of 69% right now, 178 for 258, 2,200 yards. Again, a QB rating of 160. I feel like I'm saying 160 quite a bit. He again has 17 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. But the big thing with this guy, not only can he throw the ball and throw it well, he is very fast, and it's almost deceiving until he gets out in space and you can see him use those legs. Absolute dual threat quarterback. He's carried the ball 89 times for 484 yards and 6 touchdowns. So 23 total touchdowns here for Calandria. And I just think he has been the absolute star of this offense. But I have to throw another honorable mention out, and that is Jet Thomas. I still question why they aren't getting this kid the ball a bit more, because his nickname Jet is absolutely what it should be. When he catches that edge, he's gone. And I love his play. But Alex Calandria is the guy right now, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the Mountain West, as I had said. Let's go to Utah State. I got to stay with quarterbacks. I was a big Bryson Barnes fan last year. I think he should have been the starter from the beginning of the season. I think they would have gotten more wins if he would have been. But be that as it may, he is the starter here this year, and he is making the absolute most of this opportunity. A senior, he was a transfer 2 years ago from Utah, and he is throwing at 65% completion rating. He's over 2,000 yards right now on the season. His QB rating is 161. He has thrown 17 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. He's also a runner, dual threat, just like I was talking about with Calandria. Barnes here has run the ball 113 times for 407 yards and 7 touchdowns, so 24 total touchdowns for Bryson Barnes. I would consider him, honestly, my number 2 kind of overall quarterback, given what he can do, that dual threat that he has, is Bryson Barnes. I like watching this kid. I unfortunately haven't seen enough Utah State games because I really appreciate watching Bryson in action. I know he had a bit of a health scare there, injury scare a couple weeks ago. Glad that wasn't serious, and he's able to come back and perform at a very high level here for the Bronco Mendenhall Aggies. Let's go to the final team, the Wyoming Cowboys, sitting at 4-5. And I was going to go defense here. There's a lot of youth on the offense that I like, but I went defense and I struggled between a couple players. But I'm going to pick Ben Florentine, the nose tackle. He's a senior, actually started at Wyoming as a walk-on, has been at Wyoming his entire career, but started as a walk-on. Right now he has 26 total tackles, again as a nose tackle, 5 sacks. He's forced a fumble, and just the front of this defensive line has been very impressive for Wyoming, the defense overall. absolutely very, very impressive this year. A huge step forward from where they were at last year. Florentine is a big part of that. So he has to be the one I go with. But I do have two honorable mentions here. Guys that I really looked hard at. They're both linebackers. I love their play this year. Evan Eller and Braden Johnson. I have to give shout outs to them. I actually was going to go Braden Johnson at first. I saw him play out in Akron, and he was amazing in that game. Coming up from lower levels, now playing FBS football, he does not miss a beat, and he's the leading tackler actually on this team. But I'm going with Florentine, Ben Florentine. I think him as a senior, doing what he's done here at Wyoming, is well deserving. So let's get to my top four. I'm going to give you my top four in no order outside of, I put them in alphabetical order again. So here's who I think should be up for Player of the Year honors in the Mountain West through Week 11. And I'd love to hear from you as to which of these four you believe should be the Mountain West Player of the Year. Two quarterbacks, going to start with Bryson Barnes, Utah State, is in my final four. The other quarterback, Alex Calandria with UNLV, is in my final four. Going to the defensive side then, I've got Jackson Eck from UNM, just too good of a player to not have in my final four, and a guy that I said you're going to be seeing play on Sundays, edge from San Diego State, Trey White. So that's my final four: Barnes, Calandria, Eck, and White. I want you guys to vote in the comments. Let me know who you think is the Player of the Year right now as we head towards the end of the season. Hey, thank you guys for watching this. If your favorite player or who you think is the Player of the Year on your team wasn't mentioned, plop them in the comments as well. I certainly don't claim to be the all-knower of everything Mountain West, just like to give you guys my opinion. So I'd love to hear some other names that maybe I didn't mention on this pod. With that, hey, I thank you guys for watching this. We're going to live stream the Colorado State versus New Mexico game on Saturday. That'll be live here on the Big Mountain Podcast. Steve and I will do a live pregame and halftime show. Would love to have you guys join us. You can watch Jackson Eck, a player that I just named in my final four, on that game. We had a lot of fun when we did it 2 weeks ago. We're hoping to break 2,000 viewers here this coming weekend. So with that, smash that like button, subscribe if you like our content. We'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.